California has just redrawn the political map of America, and the shockwaves could be felt all the way to Washington, D.C. In a move that's already reshaping the balance of power, voters in the Golden State have approved Proposition 50, a sweeping redistricting measure that hands Democrats a major advantage heading into the 2026 midterm elections. The decision marks a pivotal moment in the national fight over who controls the U.S. House of Representatives and ultimately the direction of Donald Trump's second-term presidency. For Democrats, this is more than a state victory. It's a strategic counterpunch to the GOP's aggressive redistricting moves in Texas and beyond. For Republicans, it's a warning sign that their once safe seats in California may now be slipping into Democratic hands just as the next election cycle heats up. The stakes could not be higher. Republicans currently hold a narrow majority in the House, 219 seats to the Democrats' 213. A swing of just a handful of districts could flip control. And now, California's newly approved map could deliver as many as 5 additional Democratic seats, precisely enough to offset the 5 new GOP-leaning districts that Texas lawmakers carved out earlier this year at President Trump's urging. The tit-for-tat nature of this political chess match has set the stage for one of the fiercest redistricting battles in modern U.S. history. While redistricting is often a technical, behind-the-scenes process, this time it's front-page news, because the outcome could decide who writes America's laws and who stands in Trump's way for the remainder of the decade. Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom, the architect behind California's Proposition 50, hailed the measure's approval as a mandate to protect democracy. Speaking from Sacramento, Newsom called the vote a national statement, a rejection of what he described as Trump's attempts to rig the system. With the energy of a campaigner and the precision of a strategist, Newsom positioned the initiative as part of a broader Democratic resurgence, citing wins in New Jersey and Virginia as evidence of voter fatigue with Trump-era policies. But he also issued a stark warning: the real battle lies ahead. If Democrats can flip the House, Newsom said, they can end Donald Trump's presidency as we know it. His message was clear. This map isn't just about California's borders. It's about the boundaries of American democracy itself. Proposition 50 marks a radical departure from the system California has used for over a decade. Since 2010, the state's congressional lines have been drawn by an independent, bipartisan commission, a reform championed by former Republican Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger to remove politics from the process. But under the new measure, those maps are suspended. Instead, the Democratic-controlled legislature now holds the power to redraw district boundaries through 2030. Supporters argue that this was a necessary response to Republican-led gerrymanders elsewhere. Critics, however, see hypocrisy, a betrayal of the very reforms California once prided itself on. Schwarzenegger himself blasted the decision, saying it makes no sense to fight Trump by becoming him, accusing Newsom of taking power away from the people. Under the newly drawn map, several Republican strongholds will see dramatic changes. In Northern California, rural conservative areas will be merged with the liberal coastal enclaves of Marin County, effectively diluting GOP voting power. Similar reshuffles are expected across Central and Southern California, where 5 incumbent Republican congressmen, Ken Calvert, Darrell Issa, Kevin Kiley, David Valadao, and Doug LaMalfa, now face significantly tougher re-election battles. Analysts predict that at least 3 of those seats could flip blue as early as 2026. While some Republicans have condemned the move as an overt power grab, others appear resigned to the new reality, acknowledging that their campaigns will need to adapt to a dramatically altered political landscape. The campaign to pass Proposition 50 was one of the most expensive in California's history, with total spending surpassing $100 million. More than two-thirds of that came from pro-democratic groups, backed by labor unions, progressive advocacy organizations, and a flood of national donors. Former President Barack Obama even joined the effort, releasing a video urging Californians to stop Republicans in their tracks and prevent them from stealing enough seats to rig the next election. The message was simple but potent. If Republicans can redraw the map in their favor, Democrats must do the same to restore balance. Opponents, however, struggled to raise funds in one of the country's most expensive media markets, allowing Newsom's campaign to dominate the airwaves and set the tone of the debate in the critical final weeks before the vote. Yet not everyone in California is celebrating. For many voters, especially moderates and independents, Proposition 50 represents a troubling precedent. Rebecca Fleshman, a 63-year-old retired medical assistant from Southern California, voted no, saying, "I don't want Newsom to have control. I don't want the state to be blue. I want it to be red." Her sentiment echoes a broader frustration among conservatives who feel their voices are being systematically reduced in a state already dominated by Democrats. Even some political scientists caution that both parties are now abandoning the ideal of fair representation in favor of raw partisan advantage. The result, they warn, could be further erosion of public trust in the electoral system, a system already under strain after years of political division and misinformation. Still, from a strategic standpoint, Democrats see California as their best and perhaps only path to regaining control of Congress. With red states like Texas, Florida, and Georgia solidifying Republican power through redistricting, California offers a counterweight large enough to shift the national equation. The state's 52 congressional seats make it the single biggest prize in the House map. And while critics may decry the move as cynical, supporters insist it's about survival, a defensive maneuver in a game where both sides are playing hardball. As one Democratic strategist put it bluntly, you can't bring a handshake to a knife fight. Whether voters see it as a moral stand or political revenge, the implications will reverberate far beyond California's borders. As the dust settles, both parties are recalibrating their strategies for 2026. Republicans, despite their outrage, are preparing for battle, focusing on fundraising, candidate recruitment, and a renewed push to energize rural voters. Congressman Darrell Issa declared defiantly, "I'm not going anywhere. I'll continue to represent the people of California, regardless of their party or where they live." Meanwhile, Democrats are already celebrating what they view as a decisive victory, one that could blunt Trump's legislative ambitions and reshape Congress for years to come. Whether this new map will deliver the 5 extra seats Democrats are counting on remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: the fight for the House in 2026 won't be fought in Washington. It's being drawn, district by district, in the states.